Roberto, thank you for doing this. I think many people know you for running Carnival San Francisco for many years, as well as being the president of the Lowriders Council. Um, can you tell us a bit about how this new initiative of yours came about? What was the genesis of this?
First of all, when the uh, virus first hit and people started losing their jobs, um, I was getting calls from people that had been working, as an example, 39 years. This woman was working at the Fairmont Hotel, and she called up crying, saying that she lost her job. And of course, her husband had um, passed several years, ago, and she's the sole, provider for her family, and she had no idea what to do. And so I told her she should apply for unemployment. She had no clue what unemployment was. And when I tried to explain it to her in Spanish, she didn't understand it. And finally, after a while, I took a deep breath and I closed my eyes and I said, how can I explain this to her? And then the light came on and I said, the Fairmont Hotel opened up a bank account for you. And every paycheck, they've been putting money in your account and they've been taking a little bit out of your check and putting it in your account. And she started to cry again but this time with joy. And then she asked me if I would help her and find out where the bank account was. And I told her, well, you have to fill out and go on the internet, and I try to explain to her what EDD was, with the understanding that that was the bank. And she says, well, I don't know. I don't go on the internet. I don't even know how to use the internet. And so I got in a Carnival intern, college student, to help her on his laptop. And he he was able to help her. And since then, we began to help people get on that didn't know about the benefit that they had to collect unemployment, be able to do that. And then through our state senator, I was able to have a conversation with him because several people were not being processed through this technology system that exists today, and we're getting booted off, even with college interns and high school interns that knew how to do the on with, and then it only gave you 30 minutes to do it, or you'd get kicked off. And so we've sent all those cases to the senator's district director here in San Francisco, and they've been following up on those cases, helping these individuals. And then I found out from the city that the Mission District had the highest number of people who had contracted the virus than any other neighborhood in San Francisco, and that Latinos in San Francisco had 29% infected with the virus. And so we partnered with the University of California here in San Francisco, UCSF, and we did testing of over 4,000 people in a matter of 4 days. And then I spoke with the mayor and asked her to, with the Department of Public Health, to work with us to test the rest of the neighborhood. And that's in the works as we speak now. And then the other pressing issue that I found was that people no longer had money for food, because people already were working in this time, in this society that we live in, is so expensive. When you talk about your rent, your food, your utilities, just basic needs. People are working 2 jobs and can't make ends meet at the end of the month. So when you take somebody's job away, all of a sudden they have no money for rent and food and utilities. And so that's what prompted me to start connecting people with food and talking with the Unified School District, providing students with meals, talking to the churches, the food banks, and other organizations to expand. And we identified 12,000 people, Latinos, who needed food. And to date, we've been able to connect 6,000 of those directly with some organization or church or food pantry. But the other 6,000 is where we began to realize that we needed to do something immediately. And that's what prompted me to start this Mission Food Hub. And the first one I went to was Goya Foods, which is a sponsor of Carnival every year. And they immediately agreed to provide food and made the first delivery to the hub. And I got a free space at 701 Alabama Street. And since then, we've been getting all these donations of food. And then people have been donating money so we could buy food. But like my grandmother taught me, that every dollar you spend, make sure you spend it and get them and make it stretch. And so I went and had conversations with pinto beans providers and found places to go buy 50 pounds of beans and 50 pounds of rice for less than what wholesale price is. So, and then we have the volunteers who come in and take those 50 pound stacks of beans and make them into 10-pound bags. And then we bag groceries and are providing groceries for families. We launched the Mission Food Hub on Cinco de Mayo. And Mayor London Bree joined us, and I showed her some of the donations. And that's a roll of toilet paper that actually was sent by a friend of mine who's from China, and he donated some toilet paper. And there are the bags from Goya Foods, and inside the bags, we had some snacks from Alaska Airlines, who, because a lot of the people are not traveling now, they gave us all the snacks that they give to children on the planes. Instead of having those sit in storage, they donated it to us. And so children got snacks from Alaska Airlines, and they had little toys inside the snacks. And we also got chicken donated. We got steaks donated. We got the rice, the beans, and the masa. And you know, with masa, you could make actually tortillas. You can make tamales. You can make pupusas. There's a lot of things that you can make with masa.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I explained to her, that the difference between us and the food pantries is that the food is Latino culturally appropriate food for our community. And that we know how to stretch that food and feed a lot of people. Here in San Francisco with the parade and the festival, just like they do across the country. And so we brought, you know, the mariachis to help people feel happy and give people hope that they're not alone and that we are a community that cares, and we're going to take care of our community. And the mayor spent some time giving out groceries to people, and it made a big difference to people to know that the mayor was there and that the mayor cares, and she made a commitment to help um, moving forward, and she's kept her word, and she's connecting us with a lot of companies and donors to help support the Mission Food Hub. And I told her that this is not something we're going to do for a week or a month. We're going to do this for a minimum of 6 months. And as long as there's a need in our community, we're going to feed people in our community.
How can people help?
Well, first of all, it's to volunteer because, like you, Robert, and like me, for me, I could just stay. It's so easy to just stay home and watch a bunch of movies and get depressed and sad because it's depressing and sad to just stay home and have to be on lockdown. Uh, while getting out and doing something that's helping somebody in need, it feeds our soul, our hearts, our spirits, our minds. You know, Giving is something of yourself in a time of crisis is the most beautiful gift that you can give. And so I ask people to volunteer. And to this day, not one person I've asked to volunteer has said no. And they all, just like you, say thank you for asking me to volunteer. And usually I'm the one thanking volunteers for volunteering. I still say thank you. But to hear people say thank you for getting me out of my house, thank you for getting me out of that negative space that I was in, for that sadness or darkness or anxiety that I was feeling is beautiful. So that's the best gift you can give yourself is, and I'm asking those who are watching to volunteer. Come and be part of that joy. Come be part of that alegría that especially in these times, this gives you. The second way you can help is by just grabbing cans that have been sitting in your house that of food yet you don't eat, um, and giving them away, or going when you go shopping, just buy a little something extra for somebody else and just drop it off. Some people that they feel frightened about being around right now and being outside and being around, you know, like in the space that we're in, and that's okay. But you can just simply just show up and drop off a bag of groceries that you can give to somebody else.